Hi, and a big welcome today to this video on bullion allocation. I know many of you have been waiting for weeks and weeks, some even months for this video, so I'm finally bringing it to you today, and it's my absolute pleasure to do so. Now, before I even get into all of the questions and go through the detail around allocation versus physical ownership versus vaulted and anything else, I just want to say firstly that the company I'm reviewing today, I have absolutely no commercial affiliation with whatsoever. They do not know I'm making this video. They haven't paid me to make this video. This is just an honest review after spending years now in this field, in the metals field, investing into gold, investing into silver, looking at lots of alternative ways to secure my money, making it as low risk as possible, and diversifying my money. That is the key thing here. So really, my point is that I'm not receiving any money from this company in order to make the video. However, with that said, I have downloaded an affiliate link from this company, just like you watching this at home can do as well. You can download an affiliate link. So if you do use this company and you do allocation based on watching this video, all I'd ask is that you do use my affiliate link below this video, and then I'll get a few pennies for every £100 or $100 or euros. It's not a lot, but if enough of you do it, it might pay for my wife and I to have a nice meal every month or two. So let's get into some of the content now then. And I priced this in dollars, but I'm going to change it to British pounds in a moment just to show you this. So if I were to buy an ounce of silver today, the price, this is called the spot price, is $24.70. However, you won't be able to buy a refined 1 ounce coin for that price. So I'm just going to change this to British pounds, and then I'm going to show you how much it would cost to buy a coin like this. Okay, so here we go. In British pounds is £18.72 today if we were to look at the spot price of silver. Now, let's go on here. And we're using Bullion by Post, which is a UK site. Again, I use them. I think they're quite good. And if we were to buy a 1 ounce coin here, you can see £32.52. Okay, so that's the price. Let me just move this over a second. That's the price. Now, if you were to buy just one with the VAT, okay, this is the other key of bullion allocation. This is the benefit of it. There isn't this VAT. So it would be £37.92. But remember what the spot price was. The spot price was $18.72. So you can see that's quite a high premium if you were to buy a 1 ounce silver eagle today, because the premiums are absolutely outrageous at the moment on some of these silver coins. Of course, I own a lot of silver coins. I have a lot of silver. I have a little bit of gold. I don't keep the majority of it with me. I know Americans and Canadians and people who have had confiscations in the past, they like to keep all of their metals at home with them. Personally, I don't, because in the country I live in the UK, this is not a country where you're allowed to keep guns and things like that. So you can protect your assets, your property, if someone were to, try and raid your house or raid your farm or your ranch or wherever it is that you live. I have a lot of colleagues, a lot of clients in the US, and they live quite rurally, so they like to keep their metals at home. They find it more secure, and they're armed and they have dogs and all this sort of stuff. But for the majority of people who don't live like that, yes, have a little bit of metal. And again, I've got a little bit here. I've got some 1 ounce coins right here in front of me, right? Yes, have a little bit of metal, have some ounces that you want to keep at home with you, but I wouldn't recommend that you keep $10,000 or 10,000 euros or pounds worth of metal at home, because it is high risk. So this is another benefit of allocation, because the metals are kept in a secure vault, very, very secure vaults in different places around the world. The guards are armed at these vaults as well, and the metal is insured. So you have the best of both worlds, really. So let's have a look at the company I'm talking about now then, and the company is... just a quick one, guys. If you're enjoying this video, please just click the like button for me. It just helps it to get ranked on YouTube. Thank you so much. So here we are on screen now then, and this is the company we're going to be using today. This is Bullion Vault. which is an international company. A lot of people don't really understand Bullion Vault properly, so I'm going to go through that today. I'm going to talk about some of the questions that I asked them, because I really did grill the senior people at Bullion Vault to get all of this information for you, because I know it's such a difficult area. So many people don't understand Bullion at all. So I decided that, or in terms of allocation, so many people don't understand allocation. So this is why I've gone into a lot of detail and asked all the questions for you, because again, this was something that I wanted to do. And like most things, if it's something I want to do, I know that other people will probably be interested as well. And because most things take so much time and effort, and I know how busy that you are sat at home, you're a very busy person for the majority of you. So I've done all the work for you, and I'm going to go through that. So the other thing to mention is that this is really, really secure. They're really a tech company as opposed to a bullion company. I think that's the mistake a lot of people make. They don't realize that they are actually a tech company, not a bullion company, in that they don't actually hold the bullion for you. They use vaults. They use some of the biggest vaults in the world, Loomis, some of the other big security companies, to hold the metal. And they act as a broker, and they buy the metal within the vault for you. So a lot of people think that Bullion Vault own the vaults in all these different places. London, Zurich, Toronto, New York. No, they don't own the vaults. They actually rent the vaults. So that's the first thing to be aware of, is that they are a tech company. And when you make a purchase through them, what happens is they make a purchase for you on your behalf, and then it's stored in those vaults. And just to show you here that you do have to validate your account, they do a lot of anti-money laundering things. You can see I had to upload these documents, so a passport, a council tax document, a bank statement. I had to verify my account and my identity straight away. And the other thing to note is that you can't deposit funds until your account has been verified. And that can take anywhere up to a few days. I think it took me 4 or 5 days once I'd uploaded my documents before they verified my account. So the next thing that might take a little bit of time is to actually deposit the money and see that within your account. And again, this can take a few days. So I'm going to do a deposit now. And actually, I'm going to show you, one second. Let's just go in here. Okay, so again, this is my dummy account that I'm showing you today. So we are now in here, and you can see in terms of bullion, in pounds, we have £340.45 and currency £40.04. So that gives me a total of 380.49. And then it shows here, this is the next part, this is silver, right? We've got a valuation of £243 and a penny of silver, and that's in the Zurich vault. And then we have £97.44 of silver in the London vault, giving me a total of 340.45. Okay, then we have currency here. So again, I've put some little bits of currency in here. We've got €114, £12.97 in pounds, and then £25.67 in dollars. So let's do this then. Let's do a little trade here so you can see how this works. So I've got dollars, and I want to buy some dollars worth of silver in the London vault. So here we go. We've put that there. You notice that just changed and updated. So this now says London. I'm buying with dollars. Shows me the price per kilogram and the quantity, and then the order value. So all I'm going to click here is buy. I'm going to click confirm. And there you go. That is now complete. That has gone through, and I'm going to click done there. What you'll notice now is that my balance here has changed. So that's been updated. So we're going to do again another London purchase. This 122.71 will update. So let's do it in pounds. So buy silver in London. Again, let's buy. And there you go. That's just gone up to 135. And if we want, yeah, I can buy in, 140 worth. So let's see again. Okay, and that's gone up. So now then we have a currency account balance of 68p. And we have a bullion account balance of 379.55, and you can see where it's kept. Now, what you get is once you make this purchase, this trade, you receive a certificate via email, and it shows you evidence. So you basically get 3 emails, and it basically just shows you evidence. So what I'm going to do then today is I'm just going to make a deposit. I'm going to make a transfer into my Bullion account here and just make a larger purchase. What we're going to do is we're going to buy some metal, and then we're going to watch it over the next few months and see how this performs. So when it comes to depositing funds, then I've just brought you onto here. It will show you what to put on there. So Bullion Vault client account, Lloyds Bank, the sort code, the account number. Obviously, this is showing me this information in the UK in British pounds, but yours will say something different depending on which country you're in, whether you're in Europe or the USA, Canada, Australia, etc. So this will be different for each person. Over here where I've hidden it, this is your account details. So they'll only accept a payment from the account that you've registered it. Again, there's a lot of anti-money laundering stuff going on here just to abide by the law and protect you. Now, the other great thing is that it does protect you quite well, because if someone tried to remove your metal, sell your metal, they couldn't do it, because the only way to receive your money is to the exact same account that you sent the money from. So let's see how long this takes then. I'm going to send some money over today, nothing too crazy. I'm going to send about £50,000 over, and then we're going to do a trade. We might buy some silver, we might buy some gold, and let's see how long this takes. So I'm recording this on Saturday, the 14th of November at 12:23 p.m. Let's see how long it takes before the money actually goes from my account into the Bullion account and we can start using it. So this was quite interesting then. As I went to make the payment, I got this notification. It said, sorry, this payment will take you over the daily payment limit of £25,000. This is news to me. I don't know when they started doing this or if it's just on my account, but that's a little bit concerning. But it said you'll need to split this payment over several days. Limit reset at 11:59 p.m. each day. So if there are, some of you watching this and you have a lot of money and you want to transfer it or you want to buy into allocation or something like that, start planning early for this. Don't just think you're going to move everything over in one go when things, start to go bad. If that is, indeed what does happen in the future. But if we ever have this financial crisis, which could happen at any point really, it's happened many times in the past. Over the last, however many centuries, we've had this repeat and repeat and repeat many times, these financial crises where people have needed to get their money out of the bank. And this is, again, one of the reasons I don't keep a lot of money in the bank, because you just don't know what restrictions they're going to put on you. So again, this was a new one for me. I've never had this daily payment limit before. I've done transfers before above this, no problems at all. So this was interesting. So I've just transferred 25k over. I'll do another 25k after midnight or tomorrow, just to get that into the Bullion account, and then we'll come back and we'll do some trades with it. Okay, welcome back. You may be surprised then to know that although the initial video was recorded on Saturday at lunchtime, I'm now recording this again. It's Monday at 2:15 p.m. So it took a lot longer than I anticipated to get that money into the account, but you can see it's in there now. Currency, we have 50,000 here. So what actually happened was I first had to add Bullion Vault as a payee on my account. I had to verify that. I then sent the money through, and it said you can't send all of that money. You can only send a maximum of 25,000. So I then sent the 25,000. I then had to wait till the next day. And what I noticed, I went into my account to check the first 25,000 had gone in. And because it wasn't in there, I started thinking, hold on, why isn't it in there? It's 24 hours later. Why is the money not there? All these sort of things. So it goes through my mind as well as yours. Doesn't matter if you're transferring 100,000 or if you're transferring 100. You want to check it's gone in before you transfer the rest of it. So that's what I did. I waited till this morning. So Monday morning, I checked at about 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And the money, the first lot of 25,000 was in there. So I then instantly transferred the next 25,000 and it showed up within about 20 minutes. So the lesson I learned from that is that Bullion Vault obviously does a manual approval process before they put that money into your account and allocate it to you, those funds, the currency. I think they must do it manually. So it isn't a like a bot or, automatic. So don't have a heart attack if you on a Saturday morning you transfer a lot of money and then it's still not there on a Sunday night. It's probably going to be there on the Monday morning once they approve it. So now that we've got this money here, how are we going to allocate it? Let's look at that, and then let's look at the commission on it as well. So I'm just going to go back to Bullion by Post, and I'm going to use their charts here. Again, Bullion by Post, UK company. I've got a link below. I do recommend them. I've used them before. They've always provided good quality metals to me, no problem at all. So we're going to look at the gold to silver ratio, and let's just move this down a bit. Okay. And you can see that where we are right now, the current ratio is 76.5, and that's the gold to silver ratio. That means for 1 ounce of gold, it takes 76.5 ounces of silver. Now, if you remember, let's actually change this to, let's say, a 5 or a 10-year chart. So I don't know if you remember a little while back in the springtime when I made the video about the price of silver being 122 ounces to 1 ounce of gold. And I said that it was probably going to go up quite dramatically. And then in a very short space of time, the actual ratio came down because silver doubled in value. So I made a 100% return on investment on my silver purchases. And then we can see where it went. The gold to silver ratio has ever since come down quite a lot, dropped down to about 71, 72. And now it's sitting at 78. So in my opinion, that's still a good purchasing opportunity. If we look historically now, let's go back to an all-time chart. If we look historically, that was an all-time high, and that's the only reason I saw that and purchased a lot of silver then. I know some of you who were my followers back then, subscribers, you did the same. I'm sorry if you weren't subscribed back then and you missed the opportunity, but don't despair, these things come up a lot. I'll let you know if I ever see big opportunities like this again in the future. And if we look back then, the last time we had a really high ratio was 100 to 1. It's funny that it got to exactly 100 to 1 there, and that was in 1991. So we can see whenever we have these recessions and then we have these boom periods when the stock market's booming and the housing market's booming, it's quite interesting to look at the silver to gold ratio. I won't go into all of that today, but you're more than welcome to do that research. I think you'll find some quite interesting patterns here. So I think personally we've still got a bit of room on silver. So I'm going to be going in on silver today, especially let's take a look at the price. So here we have our silver price point then. And you can see it is still, I think, very low versus its value. You have to remember as well, silver has a lot of industrial uses. So it's not ever going to go to zero. You're never going to see silver go to zero. And we can see in the last financial crisis here, we had almost a £30 spot price on silver. So I think if the economy goes the way I'm predicting it's going to go, I think we're nowhere near as bad as it can be right now. I think 2021 is not going to be good. And I know I go against a lot of what these experts and the pundits say in the news and things, but I have been fairly accurate so far. If you look back over my forecast, most of them have been fairly accurate. I've been off with a couple, but the majority have been fairly good. And again, I called it right on silver. Who would have thought a 100% return on investment? Imagine if you got that on a stock or something like that within the space of a few months. You'd be very happy. So I do think silver is undervalued still, and that's the reason today that I'm going to invest in silver. However, let me add a caveat here. Remember what I was saying on my other silver videos. I've been buying silver for a while now, so I've been getting it very cheap. I got it at, look at this, April, so I was buying at £11 as a spot price, of course, an ounce there. I've been getting it over the years. I've been getting it, look, £11, £12 here. I was getting it at £10 here. So I've been buying it over the years. So buying it at this price now, for me, is quite expensive. But the reason why is, what are my alternatives? I can leave the money in the bank, which I do not want to do, especially with bank bail-ins and the risk there. There's also the over leverage, the bad debts of banks. So I don't want to leave a lot of money in the bank. So I actually see buying metals not as an investment or a speculation, as it were, but I see it as a long-term store of value, or a long-term store of money, more to the point. Remember, currency isn't money, it's very different, but metals are money. They always have been. You can go back thousands of years, they always have been. So personally, that's why I would invest into metals, and I see it as very secure doing it through through this company, through Bullion Vault. But of course there are risks as well, and I'm going to go on to some of the negatives a little bit later on. So here we go, then we're on the dashboard and we have the 50,000 here, and I've got the option, if I want to buy gold, to buy it in 5 vaults here. So we've got Zurich, Switzerland, London in England, New York in the USA, Toronto in Canada, and then we have Singapore as well. So we've got the Singapore vault here. And then silver, we have Zurich, London, Toronto, and Singapore. So we don't have the option of New York. And then if any of you want to buy platinum, of course you can also buy platinum, and you can buy that in the London vault. So I'm going to actually buy some silver in the Zurich vault here. So I'm going to click this button. Okay, so you can see this is just updated now then, and it shows bullion, Zurich, that's correct. Currency is in pounds, correct. Price per kilogram, 604. Quantity, 82 kilograms, and then the order value. So obviously I don't want that amount in terms of buying that in one lump sum. I want to get a lesser amount than that. So let's say that I want to get 25,000. So that's updated to 41.39 kilograms. I'm going to click on this button here, buy and bid. And then I'm just going to go down to here and confirm. So let's click this button here. Okay, so you can see now it says bid completed, order fully matched. That's the important thing. It's got my order number, it's got the order date, where I bought it in pounds, price per kilogram, 604 pounds, the quantity of silver I've just bought, the order value, and then it's got the order type, good till cancelled. They matched 100%, so they had that metal there available. That means that someone else, well, either someone else wanted to sell metal at the same time, or they had metal there that was ready and available for someone to purchase. So that is exactly what happened. That was the consideration. That was the contract total. So you see I paid 0.5% commission. So that's important. It's not free. You do pay a commission on it, but the commission isn't a lot of money. So I paid £124.59 for that. Now you compare that to buying physical silver. If I'd have bought coins and put them in a vault or something like that, that would have cost me an absolute fortune. Now I'm not saying don't do that, because I've done that. I've got a lot of money in physical coins and I've had them vaulted for me, and you can do that through companies like Bullion by Post and similar. There's similar in each country, but the premiums that I would have paid on that would have been, I mean, it would have been over £10,000 easily, 10,000 at today's spot price versus the premium price to get these coins. So when you look at that £10,000 versus £124.59 at a 0.5% commission, to me that's a really, really, really good deal. So let's just click done on this, and that one's done now. And you can see that this is updated, so it shows just under £25,000 are available here as currency. And then you can see silver in the Zurich vault here is almost 42 kilograms of silver. So that's what we've got there. Now the London vault is looking a little bit slim. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy in the London vault as well. So let's go to silver and we're going to go to London. Let's again just move this over out the way. And we've got, for the amount that I've got left in my account, I can buy 40 kilograms of silver. So I'm just going to click here, buy and bid. And you can see this is all ready to go. It shows me the same amount. Silver in London, just double check this, guys. Make sure you just go over this and just double check it before you click confirm. And then it's really easy. You just click confirm, and that is it. That is completed. It's got my order number. It's got the order date. It's got the price per kilogram, the quantity that I've just bought, the value. Again, they matched 100% of my order. The consideration, contract total, and then the commission. So again, I paid 0.5% commission, which cost me £123.18. So personally, I think that is dirt cheap commission on such a large order like this. So there we go. Just click done, move my screen again over, and there it is. That is how easy it is to do this on Bullion Vault. But as you can see, I've still got a little bit of currency left. I've got £208.61 here. So let's just see if I can buy perhaps a little bit of gold in the London Vault. So let's have a look. it looks like we've got some availability. I would get, look at this, 0.004 kilograms of gold for that amount. But let's just do it. Let's just buy some. And here we go. Let's confirm this. And that is now complete. Let's have a look. So we've got my order number. We've got the amount. We've got, okay, all the same things as last time. The order value, how much I got, the consideration, the contract. So again, I paid 0.5% commission, which was less than £1. So less than £1 commission on all of that. So let's just click done here, and we'll go back to the screen. Okay, so here we go. I've got almost no currency left at all. I might just bid this up again. Let's just put a little bit more in. Let's see what we can get. Get a bit more silver in the London Vault. Let's confirm that. That again has just gone through. That's great. Let's complete that. Okay, so here we are then. We've now got our summary of bullion and currency. It shows gold in the London Vault, 0.004 kilograms, and then we have the silver in both Zurich and the London Vault, and we have almost 42 kilograms, or 42 kilograms in Zurich, 41 kilograms in London. Shows the valuation, and it shows the total amount. So you'll notice, even though I transferred that 50,000 and I had a little bit of money as well, I did have to pay commission on this, so it isn't free. You do have to pay some commissions, but 0.5% commission. So that's why the valuation is down a little bit. But for me personally, and just to reiterate a point here, the reason I do bullion allocation is because there's only so much money I'm comfortable keeping in a bank account. You do not want to be keeping large amounts of money in banks at the moment, especially with everything going on. If we get a bail-in, a bank bail-in, which is now passed in a number of countries, it's law, it's legal, it's happened in Cyprus, it's happened in Greece, it's happened in other countries, Argentina as well, it happened in Venezuela. If these things happen in the West, which are completely plausible, it is possible, especially with the way things are going, I would rather, and this is my philosophy around it, which a lot of people don't understand, so let me explain this. I would rather put money into metal and have the metal lose 10% or 20% of its value, if that was what happened, if it went down and lost money. I would much rather that happened than I put all the money in the bank, left it there, and it got stolen, basically, a bank bail-in, or the bank collapsed, or anything like that. So for me, this is really just a hedge. It's a security for me. I would rather that I had the money here than have it in the bank. Now, I do need to go on to another point now, which is a very, very important point that we need to cover. So one of the points that I do want to bring up with Bullion Vault is that I do think there are a couple of risks with using the service. I'm not just going to give it a glowing report here. I have gone into detail and looked at things, and there's a couple of things, and I've also outlined this to the director that I spoke to in terms of my concern. I would never use Bullion Vault as a bank, right? So some people are keeping money in their client account with Bullion Vault. That is something that I would never use, and I don't recommend you do either. So they bank with, so I've looked into this, they bank with Lloyds in the UK, and they bank with Wells Fargo in the USA. Both Wells Fargo and Lloyds, and again, this is my personal opinion, it's not a professional opinion, I would not want to have all my eggs in one basket with those two banks. If you look at the debt levels, you look at some of the things that they've been investing in over the years, for me, I consider there to be a risk there, so I wouldn't want to keep my funds in those banks personally. And if you are doing it through Bullion Vault, don't think that, oh no, it's in Bullion Vault, it's not with any banks. No. They have client accounts with Lloyds, they have client accounts with Wells Fargo. So for me personally, I wouldn't want to ever keep any currency in there. That's why you'll always see me, as soon as I've got currency, I'm going to convert it into gold and silver. So just to show you this, that I'm not just making this up, you can see here it says Lloyd's current account and savings here. And you can see the amount that they've got in dollars, in pounds, in euros, in yen. And then we have Wells Fargo here as well for the US clients. And again, you can see what sort of money is being kept there. And actually, for those of you who don't know this, you can click here and it will show you the client account statement image. So this is US dollars, for example, and it's showing the account balance here. It's got your Wells Fargo as well. You can do this for pounds. So let's do it for pounds here. You can see here. So for me personally, I wouldn't want to keep that sort of money in the account. So definitely use your currency and buy metals. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was I said you got a contract, and I've just gone through my notes and just checked all of that. And I did actually bring this up as another thing that I think is something that Bullion Vault should change, and this is the contract that you get sent through to you. So it shows your order number, it shows the day, and it shows the instruction, i.e. what you purchased. For me, I'm not really happy with this 100%. I think personally what should be on this contract is, I think it should be a certificate of ownership. Because if they're going to do a contract like this, why not just turn it into a certificate of ownership? And the other thing is, I would like to know exactly where my metal is. So I would like on this certificate to say, your metal is being stored by Loomis in this London vault here, and this is the allocation and all that sort of stuff. I think that would be a much better way to do it, as opposed to just doing a contract note. Because I always look at things worst case scenario. What happens if everything just collapsed around us? The system just collapsed, and Bullion Vault, had some problems. And again, I don't think they will. I'll show you their accounts in a minute. But let's just say they had all these problems and you couldn't get hold of anyone and there was all these issues. Well, how am I going to find out exactly which vault my metal is in? That's one of my concerns that I raise with them. How do I find it exactly? So this is the certificate you get. It doesn't really give me enough information. It just says that Bullion Vault is acting as my broker. But of course, you've seen over the years, especially in the 2008 crisis, what happened with a lot of brokerage accounts and firms. The good news is Bullion Vault have been going since 2005. I have checked and looked into all of this. So they have been going for 15 and a half years now. So they've got the sort of background, and they have got the majority of my trust. I'll never give any broker 100% trust, but they've got 90% of my trust basically. I still think there's some improvements that can be made, and I did pass those improvements on. Whether or not they'll be taken on board, i.e. diversifying the bank accounts, not just being all in with Lloyd's, not just being all in with Wells Fargo. If it were me, I would diversify for definite. I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket. And the certificate of ownership is again another thing that I think they should provide. It would give people a lot more peace of mind. Because also, guys, just remember, I'm not here to serve Bullion Vault. I'm here to serve you. That's what this channel is about. All the videos I produce are for you personally, to help you to grow financially, to grow your financial education, to give you options during these extremely scary and difficult times. So I don't have any affiliation with Bullion Vault or anything like that, except that affiliate link, which really just pays me pennies on the hundreds of dollars. So it's not as if I'm really getting much from this, or I'm really here just to serve you. So if you do think that I've missed anything, or you see any other risks, please let me know. Just drop it in the comments and I will add that as a pinned comment, or I'll add it into the description. So anything you think I've missed out on, please do let me know. Of course, the other thing is the confiscation risk. Let's just look at that quickly. I've never had to go through a confiscation like I know many of you have in the United States, that you had confiscation of gold before, and you're concerned it might happen again in the future. I've never been through that personally, so I haven't experienced it. But do I think it could be a possibility in the future? I think potentially, yes. Will they confiscate silver though? I would be surprised if they did confiscate silver. I think if the governments were going to confiscate anything, it would be gold. But even then, why would they need to confiscate gold when we're not on a gold standard? When they are doing these CBDCs now, the central bank digital currency. I know people think I'm creating a conspiracy theory with this, but I promise you we will go on to a central bank digital currency in the next couple of years. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in 2021, in accordance with this whole Great Reset initiative, which we still don't know exactly what's going to happen there. So yes, we could have confiscations in the future, But that's why I've diversified a little bit, put some of the metal in the Zurich Vault in Switzerland, because the Swiss and Switzerland in general have always been a fairly neutral country. So I just hope and assume that they would continue to be like that in the future. Okay, I'm going to take you through now the Bullion Vault accounts, which many of you will probably have no idea how to find. And even those people who do find it often makes a big mistake here. So I'm going to show you the big mistake. And I even made this mistake initially when I was looking at their accounts. And I spent 10 minutes scratching my head thinking, hold on, what's going on here? Is this some sort of a scam? Until I realized, no, actually, it wasn't. That there was something else going on. So let me show you what I did. So let's start with here. Let's look at Companies House. And we're going to go on Companies House in UK. And then we're going to look for Find Company Information. Start now. And then we're going to do this. Bullion Vault. And here we go. Bullion Vault Limited brings this up. So I looked at it. Okay, yeah, all seems normal. Let's look at their filing history. I'm not going to go in and show you the directors and how I checked the directors and checked if they had any fraud or anything like that against them, because everything seemed to check out. I didn't find anything bad. But here's what I did. I checked out their company accounts here. And as I was going through their company accounts, okay, it's all been done. It's been received up to October 19. Fantastic. So that means they're about to file their new accounts now. So their annual year probably ends 31st of October 19. So it'll be 31st of October 2020. I saw this and I went, hold on. £120,000. That can't be right. Where's the millions or the billions that they talk about? So I went through, had a look at it, and went, oh, hold on, what's going on here? Are these guys trying to, do me over or something? Trying to tell me they've got all this money, but there's nothing here. So I took a step back and I thought, what's going on here? So I started doing more research, and then I found on one of my certificates it said Galmali, and I thought, hold on, Galmali, let me look into that then. So I did the same thing and I looked up Galmali Limited, and I noticed, it's the same address. It's the exact same address. It's the same people. So I looked at the filing history here, and then I just opened up this 49 pages. That looks more reasonable. So this is what I did. I opened this up, and then it says trading as BullionVault.com. Okay, that makes sense. So some of these people online that are saying Bullion Vault is a scam and all of this, actually no, they've just looked up the wrong accounts. It just takes a little bit more research, and you'll find the accounts. But in essence, rather than going through all of this, again, you can see the directors. You're welcome to look these people up. You can look up all the accounts and things like that. Rather than go through it all, they basically had a profit last year in 2019 of 5.1 million. In 2018 was 2.8 million. So that for me is a positive. I'm guessing this year they're going to do at least 10 million in profit just from everything that's been going on. A lot more people jumping into metals. So in terms of their company and their accounts, that is a healthy balance sheet in my personal opinion, not again professional opinion, but I would say that's a pretty healthy balance sheet to have that sort of liquidity in the millions. So one other concern that I forgot to mention before, but I do have as well, and I raised this, is what Bullion Vault do is they buy commercial grade bars. So that's gold, silver. They're not buying coins and things like that, because again, the premium is so high on these things. So what they are doing is they are buying these commercial grade bars, large bars, and then they are allocating you a portion of that. So for me, the biggest question I had, which they said a lot of people don't ask, which I was very surprised by, was, let's say that everything went bad. How am I going to get my 1 kilo if you've got let's say a 20 kilo bar? How do I get that? So they basically said that they have a mint that they would work with. That's their contingency plan. And if anything ever happened and I had to get my 1 kilogram allocated, they would appoint the mint to break these bars up, melt the bars, and deal with it that way. So it was a little bit vague, in all honesty, because it's not really quite that simple if you did need your metals, because who would pay for the smelting down, who would pay for the refining, who would pay for the delivery. So that part wasn't clear to me. But again, this is a worst case scenario of, if everything did really go to pot, how would you actually get those metals? But just a little bit of research that I did, and this applies to the UK. I made some notes here. Many of you may know this, may not, but there's something called the 1994-1995 Sale of Goods Act. Now, I only know about this because of some situations that have occurred in the past. And one good example of this is oil tankers. So actually the gentleman I spoke to over the phone mentioned this as well, which was very, very useful. And he said, when an oil tanker goes from port to port, they don't just store, barrels of oil in the tanker. It all gets put in, it all gets mixed in together, and then at the end it gets separated. So it's similar to all the bullion. Now, does that mean that you don't own that oil because it's all mixed up? No, you still own a portion of it. It's just all mixed up, and then at the other end it gets sorted out afterwards. So I thought that was quite useful, and it was good that he refreshed my memory on that Sale of Goods Act. But in terms of the USA and other countries, I don't know if that same act would apply. You would have to look up that. If that was a concern for you, you'd have to look that up for yourself. But the other reason, and again, I wanted him to prove that I actually own the metal and the reasons why. And fortunately for me, I do understand a little bit of legal stuff and clauses and basic stuff, only because I have to do 1 or 2 legal contracts a week. I'm no wizard, I'm not a legal professor or anything like that. I just know the basics. So straight away I knew he was telling the truth, because he said the reason it's yours is firstly due to storage charges. So when you have storage charges on something, firstly that would be something that you own. The terms and conditions make it clear as well. The Bullion Vault terms and conditions make it clear that you own it. There's also a contract with the vaults that say Bullion Vault are acting as a broker for you, but they don't physically own the metal. It is owned by person XYZ, so that's another good thing. The metal is also not on their balance sheet, so it's not on the Bullion Vault balance sheet. And you can also see that again on the accounts, that you'll see the metal isn't on there. What they are mainly, like I said at the beginning, they are a tech company. They make money on the commissions of it. So it's a very good idea. I wish I thought of this idea myself, actually, because it is a great idea. And then I went on to some other tough questions. So let's have a look here. I wanted to know if the metals are insured, because, and again, we're talking about that in our Discord group or our Patreon community just this week, where someone was buying metals and then they were storing them in the bank deposit vault. And I said, I personally wouldn't do that. I don't think it's a good idea. And let me just share a little story with you here. A true story, something that happened. I was going to banks and I was looking at how I could actually secure my metals in the banks in safety deposit boxes. They make you jump through a lot of hoops. It's very expensive. And then at the end, if you actually read the small print, it says that you have to get your own insurance if you're going to store whatever in the bank safety deposit boxes. And I thought about that and said to myself, what's the point then? Why pay all these high costs when I can simply keep my metals elsewhere? So let's say that I had 5 ounces of gold, right? And I wanted to keep that at home. Again, probably not something I would recommend because that's a lot of money. But let's say I did and I wanted to keep that at home. What's the difference between adding that to my home insurance policy, which really wouldn't boost the insurance policy very much, versus putting it into a bank, paying high storage costs, and then paying for this insurance policy on that for the bank as well? So to me, it doesn't really make sense to put that in the bank. And again, true story. So I went back a little while later, I hadn't used that bank, and that bank had gone. So it had gone out of business. And I thought to myself, what happened to all of those safety deposit boxes? And I wouldn't have even thought of this if that bank hadn't have disappeared. So I looked up what had happened in previous crises, and some of it, not all, but a lot of these banks say that if you, and this is the reason for the insurance, if the bank goes into administration, that the items in the safety deposit box become the bank's property to help them to pay off debts. To me, this was insane, absolutely crazy. That should be illegal. So I don't know why this is legal for some banks to do this. So again, if you have a deposit box, you have metals in it, maybe just check your contract, check the small print on this, because for me, that is very, very risky and I would not be happy with that. So yes, Bullion Vault do insure your metals. It's all part of the fee that you pay annually. And I've got it here. Part of annual custody charge of 0.12% for gold and 0.48% for silver or platinum. So the reason that silver is 4 times more expensive than gold is purely the weight. It takes up a lot of space to actually store silver versus gold. Remember, we talked about the gold to silver ratio. So let's just say it's at 75. You need 75 times more space almost. In fact, it's more than that because silver is bigger than gold. So let's just say it's 80 times more space to actually store that silver or the platinum than it is to store the gold. So that's why there's an increased cost. But I think that's a very good price for insurance, in my personal opinion. And just to show you here, again, I would recommend you go through all of their frequently asked questions, FAQs, look at all their terms and conditions, just check you're happy with everything. But look, here's their evidence of insurance. So we can look at this here, and you can see it's with Marsh. You can see all the details of the insurance. You can see it's up to date, 22nd of April 2020. Everything matches, 7th floor, Shortlands, W68DA, everything matches nicely. So looking at this, that gives me peace of mind. I'm happy, I'm confident. And again, they've got all the different details here. Canada, Switzerland, Singapore, UK. They've got everything here, which is showing what is covered. So again, just have a look through that yourself personally. Just make sure you're happy with the insurance policy. But for me personally, I was happy with it. The next question that I asked them was regarding an audit, regarding theft and things like that. I wanted to know if they had ever had any security breaches or theft of the physical metal from the vaults that they use. And the answer that I received again from one of their senior directors was no, they've never had any theft in the 15.5 years that they have been operating. So I can't prove that to you. I don't have any evidence of it, but that is what the gentleman on the phone said to me. So in terms of the next point then, which was what I asked them about, how can you prove that my metal is there? They explained about these daily audits. I went through, and again, it takes a little bit of time to get your head around it all, but if you want to look at all this, it's worth looking at, and it shows the daily audit. So let's just say mine wouldn't show up on this, but you get a nickname. All right, so let's say my nickname was MO. So it shows that this is me. In the Zurich vault, I have 25 kilograms of gold. So that your nickname never changes. You can look at other things. So let's look at silver. So let's just pretend, again, I'm still MO. Oh, I've got 510 kilograms of silver. I check my certificate that I talked about and just say, is that the same allocation amount that I purchased? Just check that that is the same and that nothing is missing. So for example, if I know I bought 510 kilograms and all of a sudden I went on there and checked it and it said MO 470 kilograms, you better believe I'd be a little bit upset and wanting to find out exactly what happened there. And again, that's what the insurance policy is for, so that if anything goes wrong here, that this insurance should take care of business. Okay, the next thing then was around the tariff. I wanted to know what the charges were for Bullion Vault. So you can see here's all of their charges here. And on the left here, definitely go through and read through all these FAQs. I think it's quite important. There's also one for US residents. Definitely read that because there are a few subtle differences for you guys. But yeah, standard charges then. Let's have a look through this. So dealing commission is 0.5%, falling down to 0.05% depending on the amount. So if you're buying $75,000 or more, that's where you start to get discounts on it. But otherwise, the highest price you'll pay is 0.5%, which for me personally is still very cheap. You know, imagine if I'd have put that 50,000 on into allocation at 0.5% earlier in the year, and it was now worth 100,000, right? I'd only paid 0.5% commission. If I wanted to sell it, again, I'd pay a little bit of commission on the sale, but for 100% return on investment, I'd have only lost a couple of percentage points. Okay, here's storage and insurance then. So it's included, the storage and insurance is the same thing, which is great. I personally think it's a really good deal compared to other bullion companies I've looked into. So it's 0.12% per year on gold, billed monthly and subject to monthly minimum of $4. Again, 0.48% on silver. So this is your storage and insurance, in case I wasn't clear on that previously. You also have this burglar alarm feature, which is really good. Again, just another level of security for you, so that you don't need to worry about someone trying to steal your bullion or steal your money. So this is very good as well. You also have the double opt-in, the double authentication, which I think is a great idea. And then lastly, you have this funds wire fee, which I think mainly applies to the United States. It's very different banking in the UK and the USA. It's very different, and I find it crazy just how far behind the US is from the UK and Europe. Whenever I want to do banking, I can just transfer money within, a couple of hours sometimes, just so quickly, transfer money here, transfer it there. But when I'm in the US and I'm trying to do transfers, it's so difficult. When I get clients in the US trying to pay me for things, or I have a lot of mentoring clients in the US, we have to use TransferWise and all this sort of stuff. It is just so complicated. So that is one of the benefits of having a UK account, is that everything is super fast and efficient. In fact, I do it from my smartphone. Sometimes it takes me 2 minutes to make a transfer. So just to summarize everything here that we've talked about then, and just to wrap this up then, I'm using Bullion Vault not because I'm trying to speculate or do trading or anything like that, which you can do. Feel free, you're more than welcome to do all of that. But for me personally, that isn't the reason I'm doing it. I'm using it purely as a store of wealth, and that's it. I do not trust the banks right now. I do not trust the banking system. I do not trust what's going to happen with this great reset that's announced for 2021. Currently May, but we don't know the timeline. That's just what they're saying right now. I have no idea what they're doing. I have no idea what they're planning, and that makes me nervous. Right? We've had these monetary systems that have collapsed over and over and over again throughout history. We had Bretton Woods last. We had 1971 when Nixon took the US off the gold standard and created the new monetary system, the fiat currency system. This just repeats. That was only 50 years ago. History just keeps repeating over and over again. So I'm using Bullion Vault purely as a way to hedge. So yes, I have some cash in bank accounts. I've diversified my bank accounts. But at the same time, I want to have money in metal, so that if everything did just really go bad, at least I know I've got my money secured in metal that I physically own, and it's stored in a vault. I don't want it in a bank account. I don't want it in the Bullion Vault client bank account with Lloyd's or Wells Fargo or anything like that. I want physical metal that I physically own. I want a little bit at home. I want a lot in the vaults. I want the majority of it in the vaults. I have right now already coins and things like that in vaults, which are secured. But again, if I had the option to do it all over again, I wouldn't do it that way personally. I would put the money through allocation, and that way I'm not paying these big premiums. I get more silver, more gold for my money. And that's personally the way that I would look to do it. So I hope this video today helped. I hope you've clicked the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I bring you videos like this on finance and investing on a weekly basis. And other than that, I just want to say thank you so much. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time.